If you're struggling to control palm mutes on your guitar tracks, stick around because I'm going to show you how I use a multi-band compressor to control the low end. All right, personal backstory on this. Everyone knows the Andy Sneap palm mute trick with the C4. I'm going to show you guys this here, but the reason I'm bringing it up is because we may have some new guys that are new to mixing. I know I have a gentleman that I talked to recently that's only been mixing for a year. He may or may not know this. So this video is actually a little bit more for him and the new guys that are here. So you advanced guys, chill out. We're going to get to you guys some cool stuff later. That being said, I will admit when I first got started mixing, I would honestly just kind of do what everyone else does, is kind of copy everybody and hope for the best, which is what I did a lot of the times. But eventually I realized that I was being a way too aggressive with my C4 compressor here and controlling the low end. It was just cutting a way too much low end. And so over time, I kind of learned how to finesse that. But for you new guys that are here, I want to show you guys this trick because over time, this became one of my most used little tools in my bag of tricks kind of thing here. So we're working with the same track that we worked on the last couple videos here with my buddy Eddie on his single. And he has the specific section of his song where he is working through some palm mutes here. Now let me play them for you. And those palm mutes, if you really pay attention, they kind of sound like they're going like, like when he palm mutes, like, kind of weird sound. I'm sorry if it looked weird on camera, but it's really the only way I can describe it. Let's just play that one more time for you guys so you guys can hear what I'm talking about here. And in the mix, that kind of ends up translating as mud. In the context of the mix, you kind of hear like the guitars sound like they're dipping out, which is really weird. I implore you to rewind that and listen to that multiple times to hear what I'm talking about. It takes a while to train your ears to hear that kind of thing. I'll play it for you guys one more time, and especially when you hear like the really fast palm mutes, you'll hear what I'm talking about. And what that is that it's actually the low end from the guitars triggering compression. The compressor is sucking that down, right? And so it's like pushing it down. And I have a whole series of compressors working on all kinds of areas of this mix. So the bus compressor is reacting to that. The limiter on my guitar tracks are reacting to that. The tape saturation that I have at the end of the chain is reacting to that. All of that is causing just an ever so slight dip of the volume of the guitars. Now, how do we combat this? Again, that's going to be with the Andy Sneap C4 trick. And the way I set it up is really simple. I have a band starting at 65 hertz here all the way to 250, and that's pretty much it. I really don't mess with the attack and release, to be honest. I don't think I've ever done that, but I have seen a lot of people where they set the attack really fucking fast and the release really fucking fast, and in some cases that could work, but when I've done that, it just sounds weird. I don't know how to describe it. It sounds like it's doing more than what it's needed. So usually I just leave the compression settings in terms of the attack and release alone in this area. Like I just don't fuck with it. And then I just bring down the threshold until it's acting strictly on the palm mutes, and then everything else is being left alone. So here is the guitar tracks soloed, and I'm gonna put in the C4 now. And I want you guys to listen now how it's more even, and that kind of weird boomy sucking sound is kind of gone now. I'm going to play it for you guys one more time, and I want you guys to really pay attention to that fast palm mute part that we showed earlier, where it kind of sounds like it's being sucked down in volume. And watch how a lot of those notes now are even with the non-palm muted notes. And don't be afraid with this. I know some people are pretty timid. They kind of just leave it a little, you know, just kind of kissing it or whatever. Okay, in my case, it's just set it until it gets rid of the problem. And that's usually where I leave it. Now, in the mix, it may change because you may have to adjust slightly because you may feel that your guitars are a little too thin. So, you know, raise the threshold a little bit, and that could kind of bring back some of that low mid, low end kind of thing. So they kind of fill out to the point where you need it. But right here is where, although it may sound a little extreme in the context of the mix, is where I need it to sit. So I'm going to play the mix now with C4 engaged, and just pay attention to now how the guitars don't sound like they're being sucked down in volume now that I have the C4 engaged. Oh man, I really wish someone would have explained this trick to me like that years ago. You know, most people just say, oh, you know, put this on your guitars and you can control your palm mutes and all that stuff. But they don't really tell you why. Like, they don't tell you why to do that. They just say do it. And, or maybe they did tell me why and I just never really understood, you know what I mean? But in my case, I'm going to tell you guys why to do things, right? And in this case, I'm telling you to do it because it's going to prevent that sucking sound, that sucking of the volume down, you know? It's not going to trigger the compressors too much on your master bus. Or if you have tape saturation, it's not going to cause the low end to sound muddy. It's going to give you a way to have an even performance across your guitar tracks so nothing sounds out of place. And this kind of trick is essential for 8 strings and 7 string guitars, especially those kinds of instruments, because you have even more low end than this. If I was dealing with a 7 string guitar, I would probably even drop down the low pass filter to about 50 hertz. Just something to keep in mind. Rewind this video a few times so you guys can get a really good idea of how that sounds with and without the C4 compressor. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below because I'll see if I can help you guys out and answer them. I try to reach out to you guys as much as I can. So if you found this video helpful, give me a like, comment, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next